At the Trump criminal trial in Manhattan, as week 3 concludes, there have been some bombshell witnesses. On Friday, Hope Hicks. Earlier in the week, Keith Davidson. Before that, David Pecker. They've garnered the big headlines. But for me, as a legal geek, as a former trial lawyer, what has been most fascinating is the documents and some of the audio recordings and videos that have been authenticated by some lesser known and lesser talked about witnesses. Sure, you have David Pecker, a major witness, testified about the catch and kill deal made with Donald Trump, how Pecker had actual meetings with Donald Trump before and after hush money payments were made, how Donald Trump held a thank you event for David Pecker, who ran AMI in the National Enquirer in the White House. Yes, we had testimony from Keith Davidson, who represented Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal, who talked about structuring these settlement agreements, these hush money payment deals with Donald Trump and people on behalf of Donald Trump. And yes, we had Hope Hicks testify on Friday that she was there. She testified that Donald Trump told her that Michael Cohen had made these payments to Stormy Daniels. So yes, all of that testimony was major. But take a look at some of the documents that came in. Now, normally the parties stipulate to admitting these documents and audio tapes and video recordings into evidence, and it kind of just comes in at the end. But here's the thing. Donald Trump and his lawyers have refused to stipulate to essentially everything. This means that the prosecutors have to bring in witnesses, whether it's like the C-SPAN archivist or a deposition manager or someone from the district attorney's office who has to show up, and they have to testify to authenticate records because Trump is refusing to authenticate his own words, his own tweets, and his own posts. So in very dramatic fashion, all of these evidence and posts and videos and audio recordings are coming into the jury in a dramatic fashion through witnesses who would otherwise be mundane and boring and likely not even used in a criminal trial. Let's just take a look at some of that documentary evidence that I think is damning. And I think the prosecution has done an incredible job in how they've told the story. And they'll have major witness 1, David Pecker. Then you sandwich between that all of these custodial witnesses to authenticate records, authenticate videos, authenticate posts. Then you have your other major witness, Keith Davidson. Then you bring in and sandwich in between another major witness, people who can authenticate other records, people who can authenticate text messages, people who can authenticate audio recordings. Then you have Hope Hicks. It's just a brilliant strategy to tell this story where all of, think about if you were to tell this story like a movie and the jury's, gathering the data, gathering the information. It's been presented so perfectly, right? So in between these key witnesses, you've had the jury see things like this. Donald Trump's post from October 16, 2016. Polls closed, but can you believe I lost large numbers of women voters based on made-up events that never happened? Media rigging election. This goes to show you why it was so important for Donald Trump to cover up with hush money payments Karen McDougal and Stormy Daniels. So the jury saw that Donald Trump denies anything at all takes place. Think about the jury seeing what a liar Donald Trump is. The jury saw this one, October 11, 2016, where Donald Trump wrote, "The very foul-mouthed Senator John McCain begged for my support during his primary. I gave, he won, then dropped me over locker room remarks," referring to the Access Hollywood tape that the juries heard about the contents of that tape. But you see Donald Trump here in October 2016 losing endorsements and how significant that was to him. One of the reasons why he'd make these hush money payments to silence women like Karen McDougal and Stormy Daniels. Here's a more recent post that Donald Trump made that the jury got to see. "I did nothing wrong in the horseface case," referring to this case as a horseface case, referring to Stormy Daniels as horseface. He goes, "I see she showed up in New York today, trying to drum up some publicity for herself. I haven't seen or spoken to her since I took a picture with her on a golf course in full golf gear, including a hat, close to 18 years ago. She knows nothing about me Other than her con man lawyer Avenatti and convicted liar and felon jailbird Michael Cohen may have schemed up, never had an affair with her, just another false acquisition by a sleazebag witch hunt. Donald Trump denying that he had any type of situation with Stormy Daniels, as Keith Davidson made clear, though, in his testimony. It's why it's brilliant to show this, that Donald Trump and Keith Davidson and everyone in his orbit would use the word no affair because they would say, well, a sexual encounter is not an affair and making payments is not hush money payments. It's just consideration. So that's why they say no affair, no hush money payments, even though Donald Trump had this very short sexual encounter with Stormy Daniels when Trump was cheating on Karen McDougal, who Trump was cheating on Melania with. So Trump was cheating on Melania with Karen McDougal, and then Trump was cheating on Karen McDougal with Stormy Daniels. I should mention this as well. You know, I did a whole other video about the bombshell testimony of Hope Hicks. Prosecutors who were in the courtroom told me it was like a Perry Mason moment. Hope Hicks started breaking down and crying as she said that Donald Trump told her that Michael Cohen had made the payment to Stormy Daniels, and that Hope Hicks believed that Cohen was not doing it out of the kindness of his heart, but that he was doing it at Donald Trump's direction. And she broke down. But one of the things that she was trying to do on cross-exam, which I think was not effective at all, because she still has some sympathy for Trump. She worked with him. She was a model when she was a teenager, and then she started working with Donald Trump fairly soon out of college, then became his press secretary for his campaign in 2016. But she tried to say how much Donald Trump loves Melania and admires her and cares about her. But now the jury's basically heard about Donald Trump's relationship with all of these women and sexual encounters while Melania was pregnant and while Melania had just given birth to their first son. Another message that the jury saw, October 17, 2016, Trump wrote, "Can't believe that these totally phony stories, 100% made up by women, many already proven false, and pushed big time on the press, have an impact." The jury saw this from First Republic Bank. They see the money from Michael Cohen's account. Cohen set up this account to make the payment to Stormy Daniels. Trump eventually reimbursed Michael Cohen for that amount and then falsified the business records. Here is Donald Trump at a campaign speech in connection with the 2016 election. The jury saw this. A C-SPAN archivist showed up. The jury saw this piece of evidence as well. Play this clip.
As you have seen, right now I am being viciously attacked with lies and smears. It's a phony deal. I have no idea who these women are. Have no idea. I have no idea. And I think you all know I have no idea because you understand me for a lot of years. Okay? When you looked at that horrible woman last night, you said, I don't think so. I don't think so. Whoever she is, wherever she comes from, the stories are total fiction. They're 100% made up. They never happened. They never would happen. I don't think that happened with very many people, but they certainly aren't going to happen with me.
So the jury's seeing what a liar Donald Trump is. The C-SPAN archivist also authenticated this record of Donald Trump. You see at the bottom, you'll see the C-SPAN logo. That's why they had to call the C-SPAN archivist in to authenticate these records, where Donald Trump in 2017 praised Michael Cohen and said that he's a great lawyer, a good guy. And so even at that time when the hush money payments were made, now you connect it right to Hope Hicks saying that Donald Trump knew that he made the payments. Donald Trump's out there, to Stormy Daniels, Donald Trump's out there saying what a great guy Cohen is. Here, play this clip.
And by the way, we just found out I was coming down. Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is a very talented lawyer. He's a good lawyer in my firm.
And then what the jury has not seen yet, but what the jury will be seeing are the checks. 11 checks that Donald Trump made, many of them signed by Donald Trump directly to Michael Cohen. These were falsified as legal reimbursements, or legal payments rather, when it was actually to reimburse Cohen for the hush money payments that he had made to Stormy Daniels. And then finally, the jury got to hear this audio recording that Michael Cohen took. Here's what the jury got to hear through a district attorney, forensic analyst who actually works in the department that my co-host Karen Friedman-Agnifilo created at the DA's office. Play this clip.
What's up, Mike?
Great poll, by the way. Seen it. Great poll.
Making progress.
Big time.
And you guys are good guy.
Oh, Pastor Scott?
No, Pastor Scott. What's happening?
Oh, no. He's,
Can we use him anymore?
oh, yeah. 100. No, you're talking about Mark Burns. We told him
Well,
just.
I don't mean that. Mark Burns, can we use him?
No.
anymore?
No.
Richard Lefrak, I'm sorry, Richard Lefrak just called. He just said we have a chance. He had an idea for you.
Okay. So we got served from the New York Times. I told you this regarding to unseal the divorce papers with Ivana. We're fighting it. Kasowitz is going
We should
to
never be able to get that done.
never. Kasowitz doesn't. They'll ever be able. They don't have a.
Give me a code, please.
They don't have a legitimate purpose.
And you
So
have a woman that doesn't want to unseal.
correct.
So you've been handling it.
Yes, and it's
It's
all
been going on for a while.
for about 2-3 weeks now.
All you have to do is delay it for.
Even after that, it's not going to ever be opened. There's no purpose for it. Told you about Charleston. I need to open up a company for the transfer of all of that info regarding our friend David, so that I'm going to do that right away. I've actually come up and
Give it to me.
I've spoken to Alan Weisselberg about how to set the whole thing up with
So what are we going to pay?
funding. Yes, and it's all the stuff. All the stuff, because you never know where that company, you never know where he's going to be.
Gets it by.
Correct. So I'm all over that. And I spoke to Alan about it when it comes time for the financing, which will be.
Listen, what financing?
We'll have to pay you. So
I'll pay for cash.
no. I got no.
So the jury's gotten to hear all of that. You be the jury. Think about all the things I just showed you, sandwiched between the testimony of Pecker, Davidson, Hope Hicks. Brilliant strategy by the prosecution so far. I hope you see why. Now, you never know what a jury's going to do, but this has been managed and prosecuted just about as brilliantly as this could have gone so far. We'll see what the jury does, because you never know with the jury. But in terms of execution, it's been flawless so far by the prosecution. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers thanks to your support. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.